then there were all these text messages rolling through being like, what is going on? Like, get this woman off the air. Like, yeah.
Hi, I'm Rob from The Push, and we're here with the incredible Anika Luna from Triple J.
Yay!
We're going to be chatting about all things radio careers, about the myths and the truths, and maybe a tutorial.
Oh, love it. Yeah, let's hear it. Let's go. Let's go.
So firstly, how are you?
I feel excited. Every time I'm in like a studio, this sounds so cheesy, but I feel always really calm. I feel good.
Starting off with the spicy one straight away.
Okay, love it.
What's the craziest text that you've received on air?
The kind of, maybe not spiciest, but the funniest text I've ever received is somebody who like wanted to start like a rap battle with me on air. Oh my God. And they started like riffing bars like on the text line and we're like bar, now you go. And I was like, bro, I'm not going to have a rap battle with you at like 1 a.m. on the national broadcaster. And like, I'm here for the chaos, but it was given a bit too chaotic. Yeah. So I didn't read it out. But yeah, I recently received a text where somebody apparently had named like their goldfish after me.
Yes. Oh my God, I saw that on your Instagram.
That's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. Is that spicy enough?
Yeah, that's okay. No, I meant the question was spicy, not that you had to give a spicy answer. Yeah. What sort of vibe are you looking for when you're making a playlist of what you're going to play on air that night?
So it's actually really interesting because we have specific staff members doing specific jobs. Yeah. So we actually don't make a lot of the playlists as presenters. So it depends on what show you're presenting. So usually daytime shows that kind of range between like 6 a.m. to like about 7 p.m. They get like, I would say like 90% of their playlist made for them. Then they get to pick like 1 or 2 songs an hour, which is pretty chill. Then if you kind of like progress beyond that, if you go at least on like the Triple J radio grid, if you're a more specialized show, so a Soul Control, for example, Core, Prism, hip hop show, you're curating a little bit more because you are like an expert in that kind of genre, in that specific space. With me and the shifts that I'm doing, I'm not actually doing a lot of playlisting as such. I get to choose like 2 picks an hour. And then with Tops, we just get given a run sheet and stuff like that. So I don't actually choose much of my playlist to answer your question.
Well, that's some insider knowledge. That is a game changer. So everyone who's DMing you, they can just give it up.
I can leave so many reviews on tracks, which is why I'm always dropping reviews. Yeah. But when it comes to spinning tracks on air, there are actually so many more roles in a radio station than I think what people like would think, if that makes sense.
What sort of vibe are you looking for your couple of songs that you put in each time?
So yes, great question. I am like the Australian music girly. I'm always putting in, I guess, tracks that are like coming from like emerging local artists. So songs that I feel like align with the playlist, also things that align with like the time of day, what people might be doing, whether it's got swearing in it. It's probably not appropriate to play at like 6 a.m. in the morning. There's a lot of like things to think about, I guess, contextually when you're putting together a playlist or when you're choosing songs to go on air. And it's so interesting because I guess broadcasting at a national broadcaster, there are people in like rural WA that you've got a program for, but there are also people in the heart of the city, maybe in Sydney. People are doing so many different things. So trying to find music and like a kind of general vibe and curate a vibe that fits so many different people's lifestyles is, I think, a real skill and something that a lot of people at like my work have definitely like nailed, but something I'm still trying to kind of get into like the hang of, which is really, really cool.
Okay, is there anything that is like a myth or something that you think that people have a misconception about working in radio?
Yeah. I think that people think that like being on radio is just like jumping on air and being like la di da la, like, and just talking. Radio is so much more than just talking. Oh, I am such a radio nerd, Rob. I could talk about this for literally years. Yeah. But there are so many things to think about. Like I think just in general, like Radio Craft 101, you want to be hitting like your main points. So you want to be doing back announcing and front announcing, which is basically saying, you heard this song by this artist. Coming up next is this song by this artist. You also want to hit a few IDs. So you always want to say your name. You always want to say your station, your program as well. So something like, hey, you're listening to Tops on Triple Down Earth with Anika. And that is kind of like, they're kind of like your IDs. You then want to kind of chit chat in between. Just in general, you want to talk a little bit about kind of what's coming up, what's happening. And there are so many ways that you can kind of segue between different topics. You can use music to like segue. If you like this artist, insert song. Then you're gonna love this, like that kind of thing. And like the words that you use, your tone that you're using, depending on the time of day that you're broadcasting. Even little things like addressing a listener with a kind of one-to-one like relationship. You're never gonna say, hey guys, how are we, blah, 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 because radio is quite a personal listening experience. So you're always instructed to be like, how are you? If you're listening out here today, like let me know, come through, text line. There's just like so much to be thinking about, and things always inevitably go wrong. A big part of radio is like, it is live. There is no cheating, like, you know what I mean? And it just takes years and years and years to kind of like build, and it's like any skill with practice, like you can become a pro. I'm constantly doing like air checks with like producers and like managers and stuff. What an air check is kind of like a session where you listen back to your show and you kind of construct like, what did you do well here? What didn't you do well here? I think a real skill as well, and maybe another misconception is that like not all radio is live. Like, okay, a lot of radio is live. And I think a real skill is like being able to master the craft of it feeling live and being live, but it not be live, if that makes sense. So there are programs which you might not even realize are pre-recorded, but they really are. And like, I think that's a real skill and maybe a misconception as well.
So, take me back. First time you heard your voice on radio. Did you cringe or were you like, this is a vibe?
Oh God, yes. Even if you record a voice memo and you listen back, you're like, oh, I never want to hear that again.
Like, I love the sound of my own voice. I don't really like.
Okay, not everyone has a confidence.
But you listen to yourself like often, so you like your voice.
No, I'm so used to it now. And now I approach it, like when I'm listening back, it's more analytical rather than like, oh my God, I'm so cringe. I don't know, when I first started, like in the early Sin days and stuff like that, I was like, this feels wrong. It's like, humans were not made to listen to their voices. We were made to talk, and that's it. It's my work. Do you know what I mean? So it's like anything. It becomes like a technical process, and like, you become a lot more comfortable with like listening to your voice. And honestly, I listen back to like pretty much every single show that I do. Just like a few talk breaks. Maybe I'll listen to a few at the start, a few in the middle, a few at the end. You put yourself in the perspective of the listener, which I think is so important, because sometimes you're just talking and you're talking into the ether. You're not getting much feedback unless you have a text line, which is not common across like all radio stations. I guess when you listen back, you kind of put yourself back into that perspective of being like, okay, cool. What is somebody listening to in this time slot? Yeah, constantly listening back, not cringing anymore, but there was an era where I definitely was cringing. But yeah, you get used to it pretty quick.
Who's someone that was like emerging that you played on the radio and that you've now seen blow up?
There are so many people. Okay.
Is there a special experience?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so I've been broadcasting for like 7-ish years. I started when I was 15. How old am I? 23. Whatever the math is. Because I've worked mostly with like local emerging artists. Yeah. There have been so many artists that have had wins like across the board. Like, and it's really awesome even when you like, maybe I interviewed an act like early days at Sin. Like the first artist that actually came to mind was an act called Play Lunch. And they're just like a really fun like act from Melbourne, and they make music inspired by like ABC kind of nostalgia. So they've got songs like Foxtail Girl, like about the girl who like wanted to go to her house because she had foxtail. Well, I got to interview them at Sin because I heard their music from the start and I was like, this is the best. Like they had this version of like soap opera, like I don't know if you hear soap opera. Yeah.
I love that.
Then I started working across like the J's. Then I was in an editorial meeting once for like a wider kind of like Triple J meeting, and on Breakfast they were doing this segment all about like childhood nostalgia. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I know the perfect unearthed like act that you like should play during this segment. Yeah. Put like the Brecky team onto it, and they were like, yes, this slaps, let's do it, let's call you. And so essentially they called me like in the morning through Breakfast. It was like whatever, 6 a.m. Anika, like you had a suggestion for like an artist that we should play during this segment. I was like, yes. I didn't even tell the band that I was like jumping on to play their music, and then jumped on, played their music, and then afterwards I was like, hey, by the way, this happened, here's the clip. And then Liam, who's the front man of Play Lunch, made this video of him like reacting to it. Yeah. Then it blew up online. They've gained so much like traction since then. Yeah. They played at Big Sound last year, and they're playing a bunch of shows like overseas towards like this year. I didn't make their career, but I like, it's really cool. No, it's really cool when like you can like support a local emerging artist who's doing really cool stuff. Let's like try and put them in front of an audience that they might be able to connect with. And so like that Brecky slot was the perfect thing, because already it had an audience of people who were engaging with, I guess, nostalgia. And so playing Play Lunch at that time was perfect. And they'd already been doing so much gigging, so much stuff behind the scenes to like get them to that point. And then when those two worlds connected, it blew up. I think sometimes when you're in like the 9 to 5 like hustle of working, you're like, oh, I feel like I'm just doing the damn thing. But then being able to see like, you know, the impacts of like your work on individual lives of people and artists is like so life-giving and just like, oh, it fills me with just so much purpose.
So as you kind of said before, you started at Sin and Triple R.
Yeah.
And how does it feel now to have like one of the most coveted spots in Australian radio?
Guys, freaking crazy. No, it's actually so crazy. Like I've been working at Unearth Triple J for like 2 years, 2.5 years, and I still pinch myself. I don't know, this sounds so cheesy, but I actually am so grateful to be working here. It feels like I've like found my niche and my people and like my purpose in life. This like personality test, so random. But it was like the personality test at the end was like, your job is like not a job, it's a calling. And I was like, yeah. I know what life is like kind of, you know, when you're working in like community spaces, when you're not getting paid, you know, to promote your music or to be in radio or to whatever. So I'm so conscious of like, you know, still being really active in community and still understanding that like the weight of a Triple J review takes me like 30 seconds and it can mean so much for a local artist, you know what I mean? I feel really grateful that I am, you know, in this space, but also at such a young age as well. And I get to make an impact in like artists' lives and careers and just get to generate so much community on air. Yeah, I still can't believe this is my life.
Like a young person, it was like similar to you when you were younger, like, and they're trying to get into radio, or even someone who's your age who's trying to get into radio now. Like, what advice would you give them?
Okay, I'm gonna repeat advice that I've received from like one of my mentors at Sin, because it is literally like one of my favorite pieces of advice. The worst piece of content you make is already better than the best piece of content you never make. Yeah, period. Literally, period. Shout out Aaron Dick. And I guess like what I drew from that is just like create stuff and put it out there. Like it doesn't have to be perfect, especially if you're a young person and maybe you don't have experience in radio at all. Create a demo. Join a local radio station, community radio station. Speak to friends, start a podcast with your friends, start a social media. If you love doing music, you love going to gigs or you love talking about music or whatever, start a little podcast. Like, just start creating. Oh, I have 2 windows in my room and I like draw on my windows with like Posca pens. And like on those windows, it says just start. Because I think I'm just somebody who's like, oh my God, it's not perfect. And I'm such a perfectionist. I'm like, this is going to be like this and this is going to be like that. But it's like, it actually doesn't. And if you just start, you never know. Somebody, because it might be imperfect, like someone might connect with it. You can tell when people are being authentic. And I think that really comes through on radio. It's like you can tell when someone's reading from a script. You can tell. And you can tell when somebody is not being genuine. And the audience knows. Literally, they know. The text line, brutal. Can be.
We were talking about Sin and stuff at the earlier question, and you've also done some work with The Push, and I was wondering how important building that community was to your career.
Oh my God, it's so important. Anything that you can do in community and like building your community just creates such a more like substantial kind of like foundations for you. A, as a person, but then B, within your like career, whatever that looks like. I've done internships at like places like Here for Good or like Good Manners, like record labels, or done work for like Baked. And like there's so many different like communities that I've been a part of, and it just helps you, it just supports you so much and you learn so much, especially through spaces like The Push that are like designed to like support young people. I think when you're kind of starting out and you're like, I like this thing, but I don't know what to do with that. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't, even me sometimes, I don't realize how many jobs there are in a space. Like there are jobs for very specific niche things that really might cater to like your skill set or your interests. So I feel like a space like The Push is really awesome because they're like, we want to help young people. But then they're also like, here are like the possibilities that you might not have been across before. And like beyond that, I've met some of like my favorite people. Like literally. And I'm not just saying this. Like I truly have. Like some of the besties we have made through The Push. And it's like, it's actually such a special space. Like if you don't go, you don't know. Like I just made that up. Is that the catchphrase? Is that
if you don't go, you don't know.
But it's actually true though. Like you actually like, I don't know, I also can resonate though with that idea of like, it's scary doing things by yourself, especially as a young person. Maybe you have to get dropped off by your parents at like a space and then you're kind of like, there's fear of the unknown. You're like, I don't really know this industry. I don't know this space. I don't know what's going to come. But it's like, it's okay. Everything will be okay. There are so many awesome people that work in music. And like, I think one of the most incredible things about music is that like, people do it because they love it. Especially in like more grassroots kind of areas. Like if you're not getting paid, maybe artists themselves, it's like you gotta love it. You literally gotta love it. Even if you're working in radio, it's like you're working so many hours over time, maybe you're volunteering, like it's grim sometimes, but what keeps you going is that passion. And so immediately, like you go to a gig by yourself or you go to the Music Careers Expo by yourself, immediately you have something in common with people. And that thing in common is that you love music. So you could literally spark up a conversation with somebody oriented around music and immediately that's like your common interest, you know? Yeah. It's like, I don't know, I don't feel comfortable going clubbing by myself, but I'll always go to gigs by myself because you're there because of that same reason, because of that same purpose. You can start talking to a random about the artist, immediately you have something in common. If you don't go, you don't know. And just go. Like you never know what could happen. You literally never know what could happen.
I met this young person at a push event the other day and I asked them if they could give advice to other young people who want to get into events and stuff, what would they say? And they said, showing up is 50% of it. You just have to show up. Like if you're coming by yourself and you don't think that you're cool and you think the people around you are cool people who know cool things, you need to hang out with them and then you'll be a cool person who knows cool things.
Honestly,
and I was like, oh my gosh, it was so sweet. It was just such a nice way of looking at it. Just like if that's those other people that you aspire to be like, then hang out with them.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, not in like a I want to get popular type of way, but in like a I want to be like these people who like are in bands and know about music and like things.
But you should be around people who inspire you. Like literally all my friends inspire me. Like, I don't know, I'm a big advocate for like, if you think someone's cool, like even if you run into like a local band, like be like, oh, I love your stuff. And just tell people because I don't know, it's one of those things once again where like you're creating, but you never know. Sometimes you're not getting that feedback. So it's really cool doing that. I think if you go in with no expectation, anything good, like literally the smallest good thing that happens, the experience will be incredible because you have no expectation. You actually never know what could happen. You never know who you could meet. You can meet some really cool people. You might find yourself. I've found myself through music and radio and all the things as a person beyond just being like a industry professional.
How does it feel for the tables to be turned that like I'm interviewing you?
Kind of crazy. We met because I interviewed you. I remember you were in Shep. At the end I was like, do you like mind if we take a photo on Zoom? And you're like, oh my God, I so wasn't ready for this. I was like,
oh my God, that's so funny because I was like, it's a Zoom interview, it's a radio interview, they're not going to use my face. I was not ready.
Yeah.
It was COVID, I was wearing a hoodie, I was just not that's so funny.
It's kind of full circle if you think about it.
It is.
Slaying of us. I know, I'm actually gonna, why am I crying? No.
So now we're going to play a game.
Okay.
I like to call the game this or that. Just spit off the top of your head which one's better for you.
Okay.
Early mornings or late nights on air?
Oh, I'm gonna say late nights. I do really love early morning broadcasting though. Maybe early mornings, but then late nights more music. I don't know. Okay, next question.
Okay. American artists or UK artists?
UK.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
I thought you were going to answer Australia. So, to get through a long day at work, coffee or energy drinks?
Coffee. I have I've actually never had an energy drink. I was like, I don't think I need this, guys. I actually don't think I need it.
No, I don't think so. Okay, you're going to work, fun clothes or comfy clothes?
Comfy. Like I'm only kind of looking broquette today. But on like a general day, if I go to the gym and I come to work, I'm literally wearing slides. Okay. And there are people from other parts of the ABC that are like, they're looking down in the elevator. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I work at Triple J.
Okay. Would you rather do a stage dive or like sneak backstage?
You already know. I love a mosh pit. Okay. Oh, I love a mosh pit.
So you want a stage dive?
Oh my God, yes. Okay. I've never done it before. Wow. I've also never been on someone's shoulders.
In the crowd?
No, rip. All the small girlies. Yeah. This is what I've been saying.
Okay, country music or rap music?
Like both, honestly.
Really?
Maybe rap.
Okay.
Yeah, I love grime. I actually love UK grime. Maybe rap.
That's this or that done.
This or that done.
Okay, and now the last one, rapid fire round. What's the song that represents your life right now?
Okay, a song that I've had on repeat, and I'm not saying this because they're suspicious. Literally, but also another one.
We broke the fourth wall,
guys. We love Rob from the Bush. Another local artist that I've had on repeat. Folk Bitch Trio. I don't know if I can say that. Folk Trio. And this song, the actor is like it's now on repeat in my playlists. Yeah, I would say at the moment a song that I've had on repeat is like definitely Suspicious, definitely. But then also The Actor by Folk Bitch Trio.
It's so nepo vibes.
This is a rapid fire round.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rich.
This one isn't going to be short either. But worst on-air slip-up.
Oh,
I want to say I remember the time when
Were you
you sent me a
listening?
voice memo and you were like, hey, so I accidentally went on air, but I talked about you for a while and I was just practicing and I didn't realize I was
Oh my god, I forgot that happened. Okay, that is actually the worst on-air slip-up I made. This was like before I started doing live broadcasting at like the J kind of network. And before I started, I was just doing some practicing because we were going to go live in like a week or something. I'd just been doing a lot of pre-recorded stuff, and like, you know, if you're doing pre-recorded talk breaks, it's just like you pretend the song plays, then you do a talk break, and then you're like, okay, let's get into the next song, pretend. And I just like had missed just like doing a talk break and then playing the song out and then coming back and anyway, I had the studio booked for an hour. After that hour, there was like a hard switch to like Double J live on air. But there was already something queued up in the studio, but if you turn the microphone on in that studio, it automatically would override what was meant to play. Oh my God. I was playing like all of this like not safe for work music.
You were playing
like on Double J, which is like, I was playing like Big Wet. Then there were all these text messages rolling through being like, what is going on? Like, get this woman off the air. Like, and it was just like literally like, I was like shaking. And then literally one of like the senior producers of Double J at the time, she comes into like the studio opposite me when one of the songs was playing, and she like used like an intercom and was like, Anika, like so calm. Anika, I don't want to alarm you, but you're actually live on WJ right now. I was like, what? It was actually so scary. I was so, and then I was just, my heart started racing, blah, blah, blah. And then I just played songs to like see out the process.
Yeah.
And that was actually crazy. There are so many other slip-ups that I've done, but I forgot about that. Damn, thanks for reminding me.
You just put it to the back of your brain.
It happened so long ago. We're always making mistakes. I'm always making mistakes. There was one time a few weeks ago where I did like an awesome talk break. I played the song and then I thought I turned the mic off and I was like, woo! And then the mic was still on. I was like, that's so embarrassing.
Woo!
So I was like, let's go.
That. Dream artist that you'd love to interview.
Oh, this is not going to be rapid fire. Internationally, maybe somebody like Olivia Dean. Oh, I love that woman. Or like someone like Lil Kana, Tom Misch, Jordan Rakai, that kind of pocket of like UK musicians. Nationally, there are so many artists. Like legendary person, like Cordy Barnett. But then also locally, I like Miss Kanina, to sit down and have like a chat to her about her music. I would just like, I would love that. There are so many people that I could rattle off. I'm keeping this short.
That was great. That's great.
Thank you.
If this was a radio interview, how would you end it?
Thanks so much for having me, Robert. I don't know. That's probably what I'd say. You just thank people. You say thank you so much. We're going to get into another song right now. This is Suspicious by Robert Baxter.
Anika Luna.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. It's been so fun.
It was
Loving
amazing.
it.
If you're watching out there, this could be you. Music careers are real.
Let's go.
Let's go music careers.
Let's go.
If you want to kickstart your music journey, at The Push we work with young people around the country all year round. Head to thepush.com.au and follow us on socials at thepushau to keep up to date with our programs and find out how you can get involved. And Anika, shout out yourself. What's coming up in your world? Where can we hear more of your lovely voice?
I'm always across Triple Down Earth. I'm always presenting on Tops. I do late nights. I'm a presenter on Live at the Wireless, which is crazy. Live music show at Triple J. And I'm always around. I'm always in community, doing stuff for The Push, doing stuff, MCing. I'm always at a gig. Catch me at a gig, I think is like, I'll see you in the mosh pit. I'll see you in the mosh pit.
That's it. Thanks, guys. Bye.